Hiya, my name's Bruce Fummey. It's the 25th of March and I'm in the grounds of Scone Palace, and welcome to today's episode of This Day in Scottish History. Now, in the two episodes I did in New Zealand, Catherine Wilson and Colin Haynes were first to correctly give the answers of Dunedin and the Crusaders, so congrats to them. Now, I'm not just in the grounds of Scone Palace, I'm on Moot Hill. This is a replica of the Stone of Scone, the Stone of Destiny, the Leah Fail, Jacob's Pillow. It's a thing of legend. It's said that this is the stone from the book of Genesis on which Jacob laid his head and had a vision of God's plans for his progeny. Legend has it that the stone was brought with the Scots, who were the lost Israelite tribe of Dan. They took it when they fled the Middle East. They crossed the Mediterranean, landed in Spain, decided that that wasn't for them, came out of the Mediterranean through the Straits of Gibraltar into the Atlantic, round the back of the British Isles, landed in Ireland, realised that was the wrong place, crossed the Irish Sea, and now work as taxi drivers in Edinburgh. Now, the origin legend tells us that this is the journey taken by the Scots to get here and establish this land. And they brought with them on that journey this stone and the Loch Ness Monster. Obviously, it's not this stone. Right? I wouldn't be sitting on the real stone. This is a replica. Some say that the real stone is in Edinburgh Castle. It was returned to Scotland from Westminster Abbey in the 90s. Some say that the original stone, stolen from Westminster Abbey by some Scottish nationalist students in the 50s, was hidden, and the one that was given back to the police was a fake. Some say that the stone that was stolen by Edward I of England in 1296 and taken to Westminster Abbey was a fake in the first place, and that the original was given to Clan MacDonald to hide from the English. Personally, I don't really buy that story. Because I've got a mate, Ian MacDonald, and he says he knows nothing about it. And trust me, I torture him for information. I mean, if you were made to watch every recorded Conservative Party broadcast, you would have talked too. It was Margaret Thatcher in 1979 that made him crack. The point is that this stone, if it was the real one, is a symbol of Scottish kingship. See, Scottish kings weren't crowned. They were led to and seated on this stone. And as they lowered onto the cold sedimentary rock, that stone, touched by God, touched their bum, and they changed from a man to a king. Other genders are available, your sexuality can go down as well as up. This day in 1306 was the first time that somebody became King of Scots without sitting on this stone. His name was Robert the Bruce. I bet you didn't see that coming. The thing is, nobody did. In the episode that I did 6 weeks ago on the 10th of February, I told you how Robert the Bruce had murdered John Cummin in Dumfries Abbey. Edward I of England had invaded Scotland, killed innocents by the thousand, and stolen the stone. Now, you might know Edward as Longshanks. Rhyme and slang, I reckon. Edward made Robert the Bruce an outlaw. In 6 weeks of defiance, with or without the stone, Robert the Bruce was here, being declared King of Scots in the presence of 4 bishops, 5 earls, and the people of Scotland that he would lead out of subjugation to independence. That's right. Last night, the clocks went back, and today is the first day of summer. Now, don't imagine that everyone was on Bruce's side. There were English in Scotland, there were John Cummin's family, friends and supporters. And I'm sure there was those who just wanted an easy life. There was a painful 8-year struggle between this day and the Battle of Bannockburn, where the freedom sought by William Wallace was achieved. But this day, in this place, is where it started. Something else happened on this day in Scottish history. 25th of March 1707 was the last day the Parliament of Scotland sat. 401 years of independence that started here with Robert the Bruce came to an end in Edinburgh with a parcel of rogues. Here's a couple of things to think about. The members of Parliament who voted to prorogue the Parliament, leaving us subservient to London, are known as a parcel of rogues. Robert the Bruce started the fight to break free from the English throne for selfish reasons and because he had murdered a rival. And yet he is a hero. In the last few years in Scotland, we've endlessly debated whether paper clips would be cheaper in an independent Scotland. I'll be honest, I've heard some ludicrous stuff from both sides. I hear people who say that everything done by the Scottish Government is bad. Others say that everything that's done by Westminster is bad. We need a new leader. God has brought famine and low GDP upon us because we elected Nicola Sturgeon. Ridiculous. Don't feel smug. You're just as bad. 300 years ago, a group of MPs came together to decide whether to succumb to financial, trade and military threats being made by our southern neighbour, or to accept a bribe and give in to self-interest. What would you have done? They're the parcel of rogues who relinquished independence, leaving us subservient to England. 400 years earlier, a self-interested nobleman who had fought on the side of the English invaders sought to get off a murder charge by declaring himself monarch. He's our great warrior king who delivered independence. You know, we endlessly debate the rights or wrongs of the decision on this day in 1707. Was it right then? Is it right to continue? Who owns the fiscal deficit? Should we be in or out the European Union? I don't like Nicola Sturgeon. I don't like Ruth Davidson. We've got the oil. You can't have the pound. Nobody debates whether Robert the Bruce should have come here 400 years before. I certainly never hear people argue over whether he should or shouldn't have fought for independence at Bannockburn. I wonder if he really thought through the issue of North Sea fishing rights. Before Edward Longshanks invaded, there were ups and there were downs. During the wars to gain our independence, things got worse. In the 401 years from Bruce to Union, there were wars and peace. There were famines and feast. We allied with France to protect us from the English. We called in the English to rid ourselves of the French troops occupying the port at Leith. Aye, you didn't ken that. If you did know something about the Treaty of Leith, then please show off by telling us in the comment section below. In the 300 years since Union, there have been ups and downs, successes and defeats, democracy and deceits. And they'll all happen again, whatever our constitutional future. But your opinions will be determined by your attitude to the things that happened on this day in Scottish history. Some of us get emotional about this old Leah Fail. Others have a heart of stone. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please, if you have, like and share it widely as possible. Also, let everyone know about Scotland History Tours. I mean, Dochas Gumbi Lama Live. Cheery and Drasta.